Righty ho. So recently I was working on a song and I decided that in this very specific part I wanted to put a little bit of wah guitar. So I had this one laying around, I knew it was around, but I hadn't used it for years and I was very sure it wasn't going to work, but plugged it in, gave it a go, nothing, of course. I knew for a fact it was going to at least need a new battery, runs off a 9 volt, and this one doesn't even have any input for an outside external power source. So what I did, pulled it apart, troubleshooted it, and got it to go again. This video is going to show you what I did with the wah guitar.
First things first, let's pop open the back and see what's going on inside this thing. Pretty obvious problem right there. There's no battery. Well, of course it wasn't working. But also this connector is garbage, so that's going to need replacing. I'll get inside there with my continuity tester and find out which is the positive and which is the negative. Write that down on a scrap piece of paper. And I just happen to have one laying around because I'm a hoarder. And I'll test that as well to make sure the positive and negative are right. Don't know why it wouldn't be, but check it either way. Now I'll pull out the magnifying glass and have a good look inside, and to be honest, I don't remember what I was looking at, but it must have been important because now I write it down. I think it was just confirming the positive and negative on the boards, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, I get to work taking off the old connector. I just heat up the old solder and then tug on the old wires. There goes one, and there goes two. Look how disgusting that thing is. Yes, she's pretty gone, mate. Let's see why that wasn't working. And now I guess I'm just soldering on the new one. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Put in the new battery and she's good to go. Look at that. Tape it down this time so it's not just rattling around like it was back in the day. And there you have it, good as new. I get the old contact cleaner out and give her a bit of a spray to tidy it up. I also put a bit inside the actual potentiometer, and as you'll see I'll start moving it back and forth, just trying to get any crud off that would have built up over the years. This is not a perfect fix, but it makes things a lot better. There's actual compound you can use, but I've never been able to find it in stores. And here is what it sounds like. Absolutely beautiful. This isn't the greatest audio. A few chords there. You can hear that wah. And I'm going to talk over this a little bit. Please don't copyright strike me, good lord.
I'm not an expert in anything. I just love to pull things apart and try and get them to work. I love repairing stuff. This one was very basic, so I got a little bit lucky. However, I am going to try and explain to the best of my understanding how a wah pedal works. And especially as much as I understand of it. If you want to get the full rundown or anything like that, there's plenty of good videos on the internet. I might link some down the bottom. And I'm learning as I go. I'm actually looking at potentially building some of my own now that I've sort of gone through a few and I know a little bit more about how electricity works and that kind of thing. I'd love to experiment with it. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Anywho, so basically inside here, first things first, we've got the bypass switch. So when this is off, it'll just play clean guitar through it, but when you push it on, it'll activate the wah pedal, and of course use the pedal to turn it off and on. Use your foot. And in the inside here you'll see this actual pedal itself is just rolling back and forth on this, sliding on this plastic bit here. And that is just rotating a potentiometer. So something sort of similar to what you'd see in a volume switch or a tone knob, especially in older analog audio equipment. But you see them all over the place. Pots are very common. And then the input and outputs are here. And it's pretty much just electrical voodoo magic that I know nothing about. Some capacitors, resistors. Don't really know how that all works. I'd love to figure that out, but one day down the track. Basically, when this potentiometer has been spun, you're changing a variable resistance in there, and that resistance is controlling an EQ sweep from the high to the low frequencies, and back again depending on where you are on the pedal. So fairly basic concept really. Obviously a lot of electronic voodoo magic going into it, but I can kind of show you how that works on an actual electronic EQ to give you a bit of an understanding of what's happening potentially.
Here's a simple little guitar riff I made in the MIDI editor of Reaper. Let's play that. Now this is it clean without using any EQ. Now let's go into the EQ and just fool around a little bit. When we turn it on, you'll see all those little lines going up and down. There's the different frequencies that this guitar is playing at. But as we solo it and sweep through the frequencies, going from that's low, going back to high, you can hear that wah effect starting. Let's play around with it a bit. And there goes that distinctive wah sound. So it's a fairly simple concept, as I mentioned earlier, but listen to how effective it is at creating its own sonic landscape. Pretty cool and pretty amazing that someone figured out how to do that basically with a bunch of resistors and capacitors.
And there you have it. A very basic rundown on a wah pedal. Follow along if you want to see me try and fix more things and figure out how they work along the way.